Hey Dave, let's check this one out. Apologize for the shaky camera, but I'm trying to kick this out for you before the deadline. Here's what we got for a question. We have to apply this exponent of -1/4 to every number inside here. So the 16 gets it, the x gets it, and the y gets it. Now with the x and the y, we already have exponents, so we have to use the power rule. This is going to be -4 times -1, which is +4. Then we divide by the denominator. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. We don't write the 1 because that's not cool. We'll do the same here with the y. That's going to be 8 minus 1, which is -8. Multiply the numerator, divide by the denominator. So -8 divided by 4, -2. So that's okay. Then we still have to multiply it by this xy to the 4th. So we're going to do that. I have no, there's a kind of a 1 here, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? We just get the 16 to the -1/4. Here for the x's, we add the exponents because we're multiplying two bases that are the same. So that's a 1, that's a 1, we add them. That's how we get x squared. And then over here, we have y to the -2, and we're going to add that to 1/4. So we got to do a little fraction going on. We have really -2 over 1. That's this exponent right here. And we have to add that to 1/4. So before we add or subtract fractions, we need common denominators. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one of denominator 4. And how you do that, like the real slick way, take your two denominators, 1 and 4, multiply them together. So, 1 times 4 is 4. I make two equivalent fractions with that number. In this case, it's 4. And then what we do is we cross them down. To get the numerator here, I go up to the same spot and I multiply. -2 times 4 is -8. This one right here, 1 times 1, that still just gives us 1, right? That's the same fraction. Then we have common denominators. We don't mess with the denominator when we're adding or subtracting. We just leave it as it is. And then we add or subtract the numerators. In this case, we have -8 plus 1 comes out to be -7. And just leave that. Just leave it as it is. And that's how I come up with that exponent. Now we're pretty much done, except I have some negative exponents. So we can think about this whole expression as a fraction over a denominator 1. Again, we don't ever really write that. That's embarrassing, but it's a cool way to just think about it right now. Because what happens, I'm going to have to flip this negative exponent down. I'm going to flip this negative exponent down. And this x squared that's okay. That's positive. That can stay up on the top in the numerator. Remember, when you flip something down, it's just the exponent that changes sign. So this doesn't become negative, but the exponent does change sign. So I'm starting with a -1/4. Now I have 1 over 4. Same with the y. And now we can just pretty much evaluate this. 16 to the 1/4 exponent is 2. And how I know that is because of like the flip root trick. So if you have a fractional exponent, the base 16 becomes the radicand, that's the number underneath the square root symbol, or 4th root in this case. The denominator of the fraction 4 becomes the index, that tells me it's the 4th root, and the numerator becomes the exponent to which all this stuff is raised, which is a 1, so we never really write that. So the 4th root of 16 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, if we had 4 2's multiplied together, we get 16. So I can just evaluate that, leave that as 7 over 4. You don't got to do a crazy flip root trick with that because we don't know what y is, and just express your answer like that. So your final answer, x squared over 2 times y to the 7 over 4. All right, it's good to hear from you. Hope that helps. Let me know if it doesn't.